But let's talk about the other cantor, because you write about that in the book. That was a very important relationship in your life too. There was a cantor at your temple. This young man, Paul, you called him in the book. I don't know if that's his real name, but I think it was Paul, right? And would you like to talk about that a bit? Because it's a big turning point in your life, because it caused a break with your mother in a strange way.
Yeah, it was, by that time I was a teenager,
Right.
and I knew a little bit more about life and myself. And he was about 10 years older and kind of irresponsible. But I didn't see it that way because I was a kid.
Right.
And I think today it would certainly be named abuse of sorts. But I learned from it.
But
I'm here.
Exactly. But you not only fell for him, but then he sort of broke your heart and married a very well-off member of the congregation.
Right.
And then there was the scene. I don't know if you want to give away something, but
I don't.
okay. All right. You have to get the book. But he had to tell his parents. I won't tell you why he had to tell his parents, but you had to come out to your parents. You were very honest. It was very brave of you to go to your parents at that point in your life and at that time.
And my mother said, "You disgust me. Don't ever talk to me again." And she left the room. And that was the beginning of the end of that. I mean, I made all kinds of adjustments as the years went by. And she herself was not very sophisticated and had a kind of a brutal family that she came from.
Right.
So
She was beautiful.
she was beautiful,
Really
and
beautiful.
I totally forgive her
That's-
and think she was kind of marvelous. And she gave me my love of art.
You almost make her seem at times in the book, she was manic in a strange way. She seemed, that's the way she comes off to me as a...
Yeah, she was childish,
Yeah.
childlike.
Yeah.
And for a mother, that's not a good thing.
Yeah. And you always seemed a little grown up.
I had to,
Yeah. Because she was childish?
Yeah, because she was not really, she didn't know what to do.
Right.
My dad was very mature and fatherly, but I don't even know if she was ready to have children. She was 18,
Right.
and she also had ideas about herself as a movie star.
Okay. Well, she was pretty enough to be a movie star. That's for certain. The photos of her in the book are beautiful.
Yeah, she's beautiful. She was a beauty.
She's stunning. Yeah. But so,
And she named me Joel McCrae. Joel, after Joel McCrae.
I thought she was Joel McCrae Katz, but it's just Joel.
Just Joel.
Joel Katz. Yeah. And then you were Joel K for a while.
Right.
Right. Before you
Because-
were Joel Gray, you were
Right.
Joel.
And then
Joel
they
Gray.
said, you can't be Joel Kay. Danny Kaye's a gigantic star.
Right. And you were sort of stealing from him too, weren't you?
No.
That's what you say in the book. You say it in the book. I'm just quoting back to you. You said you stole from him and Jerry Lewis and Ray Bolger. You were like, you use them as inspirations, let's say. Okay? Is that okay? No? Read the book.
Next.
All right, fine. But the guy who wrote Zippity Doodah, what's his name?
Ray Gilbert.
Ray Gilbert gave you your name because
Right.
it rhymed with Olay.
Right. He
Now
said,
that I got right.
So we got to change your name, and it says let me think, Olay Joel Gray, and that was it.
Right.
You want to know?
Magic. Showbiz. But since your dad was famous, he had a certain fame. At one point,
Oh,
really
yeah.
famous.
Absolutely.
As Cats. So were they upset when you changed your name?
Not at all.
Did he feel in competition with you? The
Never.
goody man, as he called himself?
Never.
He was always
Because he was
supportive.
essentially a musician.
Right.
And he somehow found himself in this performing world
Right.
just by chance.
And did you always think of yourself as an actor who fell into being this musical star?
Yeah. And wanting to get out of it.
Yeah.
And
That's
didn't-
interesting. We're
did
never
not-
satisfied with.
I didn't know anything about it.
Oh.
I didn't know how to sing. I didn't know how to dance. When I finally became somewhat successful at it, I started to study.
Right. Huh. That's interesting. So did you ever feel like I'm faking this? I mean, or that I'm going to be found out that I don't really know what I'm being famous for?
No, I look, if you can look on YouTube and you'll see my first performance on the Eddie Cantor show. It's one of the worst things you've ever seen in your life. It is such an embarrassment. And yet, you could see that I was full of life and chutzpah.
Right. You wanted it. You've always wanted it. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that you did want more is, I think it's a competition. Husband, family, father. You wanted that.
Well, I was a little boy in the hotel,
Right.
and there was all these babies, and I was fascinated with infants, and I would always ask the mothers if I could hold the baby, or could I feed the baby.
Right.
I just was fascinated, and I always knew, as much as I knew anything about myself, that I would be a dad.
More than you'd be a star. You knew you'd be a dad.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the first time, one of the things I didn't know about you that was heartbreaking in the book was your first son dying a few days after he was born. I didn't know that about you. It was heartbreaking that you were a father the first time for a few days. And how did that affect your life?
Devastated.
Yeah, I mean,
And we got pregnant again
right,
a year later,
mm-hmm,
and that's when my daughter Jennifer was born.
right. Yeah. And your second child is adopted,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
my son.
So you've had all these different experiences with fatherhood: loss, birth, adoption.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. You've made your journey in fatherhood is
And married for 24 years.
Right, yeah. And the
And
marriage,
happily.
yeah, and the marriage was a loss. It was
And I was crazy in love with my wife.
right. Yeah. And there's in the book. I mean, when you read the book, my first thought as I was reading it was this guy has been psychoanalyzed. I assume you have, because the book is not just narrative. The book is written as if not just this happened, but this happened because of this happening, because of this happening, because of this happening. There is a real thought behind the narrative. So
Well,
so you what
the
I
title
read,
of the book,
Mhm.
Master of Ceremonies,
Right,
relates to that idea of mastering
mhm,
the examined life.
right, mhm,
And it was necessary for me
mhm,
as a small boy to start thinking that way always.
right,
So it was natural that I was an actor.
right. But have you been? I mean, I assume you've been in analysis. It's what it reads like. I mean, yeah. I mean, it reads
Yeah,
like
I think
someone
it's great.
who's lived an examined life. Yeah. So I mean, that's why it's such a great book. There's a matter of fact compassion about it. You're compassionate toward yourself, which a lot of people aren't. They're not compassionate toward themselves.
Are you?
No, I'm not. No.
You know that?
I'm not psychoanalyzed. You are. I mean, there is. You've come to a point in your life, I think, that you've forgiven yourself for some things. I think, and that's
And everybody else.
well, that's important too. Maybe we have to do that before we can do the final. I forgive myself. Maybe that's the journey. You know.
It's an interesting journey.
Yeah, it's an interesting book. It's an interesting examined life. You know everybody. You seem to know everybody. Maybe it's because you're 81. Are you 81? Is that you're 80? You're 79? You're 82?
3.
Oh Lordy. Okay, he's 83. Okay. But but you do. I mean, you do seem to know everybody. I mean, you do. You do. I mean, Joel Grey is sort of the Zelig of New York City.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, everybody knows Joel Grey. And lots of different aspects of life, and lots of different aspects like design and art and society.
Those interest me.
Yeah, I know you're. I mean, any book that not only drops the name of Liza Minnelli and Bob Fosse, but also Paul McCobb and Arnie Jacobson, and that's my kind of book. You know, I mean, I love that you drop those two names in too, because you have a very highly honed sense of aesthetics.
When you say dropped,
Yes.
you know, it's got an edge to it.
Well, I didn't mean okay.
No, serious. No, come on.
Forgive me.
No,
Okay. All right.
I'm just saying that to love
Right.
art
Uh-huh.
and people who are
Right,
artistic
right.
is not dropping.
Okay, I was being glib. I'm sorry.
You're too smart to be glib.
No, I'm not. He's schooling me here, folks. But no, when you mention those names, you know, when you weave them into the narrative, okay.
Well, I'm around a long time.
I know, but I was very, I love that about it. But let's talk about three Larrys in your life, okay? I think these three Larrys are very interesting. The first one's Larry Kurt.
Right.
He was very, very dear to you. Tell the
He
people-
was Tony in West Side Story in the original. And he and I were pals when we were 15, 16
He was a dear friend of mine.
in
too.
L.A. And I just thought he was wonderfully talented. And he knew who he was. He was a gay man who was a great horseman, a tremendous gymnast, a wonderful singer, and a great pal. And he was sort of like different, so it seemed to me, from what people were thought of in those 50s and 60s about what gay men are like. And I mean, that's all over now. That's finished. But that was definitely, so he was unusual.
You know, how did that? How did you deal with it as someone who was compartmentalized? I'm not judging the love you had for your wife. That was true, and the great love of your life was Joe. But you had compartmentalized your life as a gay man, and yet one of your best friends was this very open gay man when no one was open. I mean, there were very few openly gay people, and Larry was.
And he was friendly with my wife. I mean, we were all
Yeah.
in our social group.
Mm-hmm. And you were there.
He was not limited,
Right, and he died of AIDS.
and he died of AIDS. He was the first person
Yeah.
that I lost.
Oh, the first one. Wow. And you sang at his funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Danny Boy. Yeah. Yeah. He was one of the first ones I knew who died also.
Yeah, the AIDS crisis was such a powerful change for the world in terms of how gay people were looked at in the beginning. And when I did that play, The Normal Heart, I'd say half of the audience didn't know what they were watching because they couldn't believe that it was so.
Right.
Couldn't believe that people were living like that, and that it was the first window they had on a homosexual life. And men were dying left and right and center. And the New York Times refused, as you well know, to report. They didn't believe it. And that's why so many people died unnecessarily. By the way, in this theater, I think I talked to you about this earlier.
Right.
I want to direct. You came to the production that I directed of The Normal Heart in New York, the one night. I think as part of the reopening of this magnificent theater, I'm going to restage The Normal Heart in the Curran.
Well, that would be interesting. Is this a pitch, okay? This is a public pitch, okay?
Is there a part you're interested in?
Oh yeah, I could play a tiny part in it. I would love that. In fact, if you'd cast me, I would audition even. No, but I went to that. I mean, I saw you as Ned Weeks. I went back to see you in it, and you were amazing in it. Very different than Brad. And then I saw that production that you directed that one night on Broadway.
Tell who was in it.
Huh? It was Joe Montell, Glenn Close, Victor Garber,
Michael Stuhlbarg.
he was amazing. John Hickey was
John Benjamin Hickey.
John Hickey was in it. Patrick Wilson.
Patrick Wilson.
Right, he was amazing. Yeah, it was an amazing cast.
Michael Cerverus.
Oh yeah, like who was in Fun Home? He's amazing. You directed it in such a way I'd never seen it. It was like almost like Jonathan Tunick had orchestrated a great piece of music.
I'm such a fan of his.
I know, but it was like he had orchestrated. It was very quiet. It was not bombastic. It wasn't. It was the first time I realized the play wasn't just agitprop. It was like part of the canon, and
there were people.
There were people, and it was we were so the people who were there that night. I'm not going to cry here. We were very lucky to be there that night, and personally, I want to thank you publicly for it, because that was during the depths of my drug addiction, and I'd been on a binge that week. And I'd had one night's sleep, and I'd come to the play the next night, so I was still sort of feeling it. And seeing that production that night, I knew I had to be better. I had to honor the people who had lived before me. I couldn't keep living the life I was living because it was dishonoring the people who had died before me. I wasn't being my best self. And seeing that production that night was the beginning of my getting sober. It really was.
You see what the theater can do?
It really was. It was. So thank you for that.
I've always believed in the healing
Yeah.
and the changing of lives by going to the theater and being a part of that experience.
But I emailed Larry Kramer today to tell him that I was going to interview you, and he emailed me back. And he said, Joel changed my life as much as I changed his. That's Larry. Playing me in the normal heart, as he writes in his very moving book, gave him the courage to come out. But his love for my play led to his starting the chain that got the revival to Broadway. This started when he arranged a sold-out benefit reading in LA, which was such a success that he directed a benefit reading in New York. It was a momentous evening. The theater was packed. You could hear a pin drop the entire performance. And when we discovered the play had legs, it hadn't aged at all. It was more timely than ever. Darryl Roth, the great producer, said that very night she was going to take this play to Broadway, which she did, and where it won a bunch of Tonys, including for Best Revival. None of this would have happened if it hadn't been for Joel. The play is now being done more and more all over the world. Thank you, Joel. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and much love.
I love that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, he loves you. So, but yet you didn't direct the Broadway. Once it moved to Broadway, you didn't direct that.
I was in Anything Goes.
Oh, okay.
At the same time.
Right. Uh-huh.
And I worked with George Wolfe, and we both were credited, and we were nominated for Tonys.
Right. Well, that's good. Okay.
And Larry Kramer became a Broadway
Tony winner.
Tony winner, and finally a play of his.
Right. Yeah. I've known him a very long time. A very, very long time. He's a dear. I know the dear Larry. There's a dear Larry, that's not the irascible Larry, but both are dear. the other Larry that's in your life was your neighbor in Malibu, Larry Hagman. Another great friend of yours.
Dallas.
I love
JR.
I know. I love these friendships and the.
Can you picture us together?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
We got a lot of laughs.
Yeah.
When I was nominated for the Academy Award, we lived next door to each other, and we were all, including him, were all certain that I was not going to win. And I came home late, and there at the front of my door was this enormous trophy that was engraved, the Best Fucking Neighbor Award. He was so concerned that I would come home empty-handed. Don't you love a guy like that?
He was a bit of a one-off, wasn't he? He was eccentric. He's Mary Martin's son. I don't know if everyone knows that, but he was a bit eccentric. Didn't he have one day of the week he wouldn't talk? Like he had a silent day, and he was an eccentric guy. But and another great friend of yours was James Garner.
Right.
Yeah. What was he like? I mean, I love these like this is like Joel and these like guys.
Sorry about that.
No, I like that. You're sort of the Celeste.
I think you
Hall.
like it too much.
No, I mean this is the theater where All About Eve was filmed. So you're sort of Celeste home to all these guys. You're like the best friend. So what was James Garner like?
Well, we both had JG as our initials,
Okay.
and I was on Maverick playing Billy the Kid,
I like that.
and he's funny.
Mm-hmm.
He was really funny, and we were just buds.
Right. Another great friend of yours is Harry Belafonte.
Yeah.
Right. He's a dear friend of yours, right? For a long time. And how did you two meet? In
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas.
And he wanted to be an actor too,
Right.
and couldn't get anybody to have him stop singing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And his earliest
Right.
wishes were to be in the theater.
Yeah. And what were those years like when you were in the nightclub? Because that was how you really
Hell.
got started. Because that was how you got started. You were a big nightclub person.
Yeah,
I mean, you were
and
a
I
big
hated
nightclub.
every minute of it.
Wow.
And it meant, it meant that I was able to support a family,
Mm-hmm.
but it also meant that I was not able to get auditions
Mm-hmm.
for roles in the theater because there was an idea at that time that nightclubs were below the art
Right.
of the theater.
Mm-hmm.
Now they take nightclub actors quicker than regular actors.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right.
Times have changed.
Right. But what's the difference in the audiences? Let's say, like,
One of my favorites was I played the Town Casino in Buffalo at Christmas time. Cold, snowy, gigantic place, almost empty, except for 4 or 5 tables at the ringside. And empty or full, you do the same show, right? And I'm out there and I'm working hard and knocking myself out, and this guy's not looking at me at all. He's just trying to make out with his date. And I finished the number, and he says, "Why don't you get off the stage? Nobody wants to see you anyway." There were moments like that,
and you just keep going.
and you have to keep going.
So you're a survivor.
I think I probably am, yeah.
A real survivor. And what was it that made you finally? I mean, you spent your whole life, as I said, sort of. The subtext in this book a lot is living the life of a secret gay man. You talk about that a lot. It's like you create this real marriage and this real family, and yet there's still this.
Well, that's part of your DNA.
Right, yeah.
It doesn't go away.
But then when you told your wife you were expecting a different reaction from her, you thought it would deepen your relationship?
I did.
Yeah. And it didn't.
That's right.
Yeah. And you write about that very movingly in the book. I mean, you root for you to still be free. I mean, I said in the intro that there's a section in the book where you're sort of shitty, and that's sometimes you're brutally honest about yourself in that relationship and how you didn't want her to work. You wanted her to be your wife and your support and
my children's mother.
And your children's mother, and you would tell her how to dress. I mean, you were very controlling. And
I knew a lot.
but you were in a way you were a reverse Bengali. You were.
No, I was Bengali.
No, you were taking away some of her, the magic of her as a performer. I mean, she was in She Loves Me. You told her, I can't go on. I'm about to have a nervous breakdown. You have to come to my side to help
But
me.
you make it sound like I did that as a purposeful thing.
No, I'm not saying it's purposeful. I'm saying it was behavior though. It was something that you did. It was something that you demanded of her to like leave.
No,
the
she
show.
could have said no.
She could have said no. That's true. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, in my opinion, I think that she always had questions about being an actor and what it takes, and the tremendous amount of getting beaten up by casting directors and people. You have to be very, very strong, and I think I always knew that somewhere she was not steely, and I wanted a mother for my children that was different from my mother.
So
I mean, this is not all thought out.
right.
This is in retrospect.
Right. Psychoanalyze. And I mean,
That's what we're doing here tonight, right?
Right, exactly. Yes. Well, it's the book I read. Let's get back to the theater. You were in Chicago. That was another long run of yours. You were in Chicago for about a year. But you didn't want to play that part. You didn't think it was up to your level or snuff, or you didn't.
No. I just didn't see myself in the role. But I very often don't. It's happened so many times. But it was a great show, and I had that number, Mr. Cellophane,
Right.
and it was very satisfying.
And that was a year, and then you had
No, a year, and I played it in London and around.
Right. Yeah. And you were in Wicked, not Wicked, yeah, Wicked. I always call Wicked the Wiz. People make fun of me, but Wicked, you were in Wicked. Yeah, don't make fun of me. And you were in Wicked for a run, right? For a while. Yeah. Are there any plans now other than pitching to direct The Normal Heart here at the Curran?
That's my biggest plan.
Oh, it is? Okay. All right.
You hear that, Carol?
So.
Oh, I have to tell you, I was in Atlanta, and it was a kind of an audience like this, very nice and respectful, and they did a Q&A, and a woman in the back said, "I was in the hospital in the cot next to you when you were born in Cleveland. I was on April 10th and you were April 11th.
Oh my God.
Right?
What a memory.
Come on." And I thought to myself, wait a minute. And down comes this wizened old lady down, 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 down. She comes up to me, and I look at her and I said, Joni Rosenberg. And it was.
My God. What a memory.
Come on.
Oh my God. Amazing. Lord, I don't.
Don't go to Atlanta.
Huh? Don't go to Atlanta.
Things happen there.
I'm from Mississippi. Atlanta's the north.
You're
of
from
me.
Mississippi?
I'm from Mississippi. Yeah.
Hey, Mississippi.
I'm the southern. Any further south, you drown. But would you always be a Midwest boy? Do you think? Finally,
I think so.
Yeah.
And everybody is sure I was born in New York.
I know. I mean, you're this sort of sophisticated area.
I always wanted it.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait
Mm-hmm.
to get there because it meant the theater to
Yeah, I
me.
was the same way. Yeah.
And I love that city.
Yeah, that's your city. Right. But you also have a place in Los Angeles, don't you? Have a place in
No.
You used to live in Venice, or
Yes, I did.
Yeah, yeah. Do you miss it? Venice?
No,
No.
I love New York.
Yeah. Do you have any other favorite places other than San Francisco?
But that's always, I think I spent more time in the theater.
Yeah.
I think I spent more time in the theater. Yeah, in San Francisco than in any other city.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Oh wow. Mm. So this is like a second home.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I have a lot of dear, dear friends and history
Right.
here.
Is history in a quotation marks?
Herb Cain
Oh really? Yeah.
was a good friend.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Willie Brown is a good friend.
Of course. So you know everybody.
Well, no. These
You're the-
guys, we would go to lunch,
Okay.
you see,
Uh-huh.
and there was this one last person who just passed away, Wilkes Bashford,
Right.
and they were great pals.
Yeah. So you're sort of the Willie Brown of New York. You sort of know everybody, like you're the unofficial mayor.
If you say so.
It's true. I mean, you know lots. I mean, this evening we were sharing about friends that we have in common.
Right.
You're like an interconnected,
So are you then?
in a strange way, maybe.
Right?
Yeah, in a strange way. But this has been lovely. I love talking with you.
I thought it was great.
Yeah, I mean, you've been very open, and I really recommend this book. It's very moving. It's very honest. It's brutally honest. Entertaining. He doesn't name drop, but he weaves beautiful names into the narrative. All right?
Beautiful
Thank you.
furniture.
And, yes, and from now on, I will name drop Joel Gray in my life because it's been a pleasure.